So today we're going to be playing Hunter Campbell and Dana White. We're going to matchmake every ranked fighter. In this video, part one, it's going to be flyweight to lightweight. So let's get straight into it. Some of these are going to be confirmed, but either way, this is what I think makes sense for the divisions most. So let's start off with what's confirmed: Joshua Van versus Bruno Silva. Then we also have Manel Cap versus Royval is rumored. Not sure if that's confirmed yet, or I don't know. Either way, I think that's it. That's a good fight. Winner can get a title shot. Or honestly, if Royval wins, make him fight another up and comer because the trilogy with Pantoja, I'm just not interested in seeing until he's like absolutely undeniable. So, and I think he needs one more win to do that. Figueiredo should move down and rematch Pantoja because his run at bantamweight right now, it's looking like he's not gonna, get to the title. He just lost to Peter Yan. He beat Pantoja. He's one of the only people who beat Pantoja who's like still around. I think you can justify just a rematch. And other than that, I mean, what's left for Figueiredo? There's no like money fights for him. I don't think he's gonna want to try and make a run at the bantamweight title because he's just lost to Peter Yan. And maybe this is his last fight versus Pantoja, the rematch. And then I also have Moreno versus Tyra. I think Moreno still needs one more, even if he beats Tyra, to get another rematch with Pantoja. And their first fight was pretty competitive, and it was very close. Their most recent fight. And Tyra, you can justify giving him a one fight winning streak title shot because who else is there really? Like the division kind of just needs to figure itself out. I was saying on stream earlier that they need to have Figueiredo and Cejudo move down and just get an immediate title shot, both of them, against Pantoja. So the division kind of has some time to balance itself out, find an actual clear number one contender. So I don't know. I feel like rematch with Figueiredo and yeah. Next in the flyweight division, I have Albazi versus Perez. And Almabayev is, I think, rumored to be fighting Urseg. I'm not sure if anything's really confirmed there. But, yeah, I think Albazi versus Perez makes sense. Albazi got the fucking, breaks beaten off of him in his last fight against Moreno. He kind of needs to fight down. He also had that robbery with Kai Kara France, split decision robbery. And, yeah, I think he just needs to fight down. He needs to fight like Perez. It's a good fight for Perez. And Albabayev versus Urseg. I really, really hope Urseg wins. I fucking love Urseg, and I still do. Like, I was rooting for him against Pantoja. Broke my heart when he got knocked out by Kai Kara France. In hindsight, I should have picked Kai Kara France because, I don't know, my thought process was literally like, this dude just arguably beat Pantoja based on damage. And, Pantoja's cleared out everybody, so logically he should clear Kai Kara France. But Kai Kara France, first round knockout, as he does. Whatever. Almabayev puts together another win after this. I think you can argue a title shot for him as well because it's literally just like flyweight is one of those divisions where it's literally like almost anybody can get a title shot. When they're in any other division, they wouldn't be deserving off of beating like a number 9 guy or another like beating a number 9 guy and then beating a number 6 guy, So, I also have Kai Kara France versus Kaya Sakura. It's kind of one of those things where Kai Kara France needs one more before he gets a title shot. They should have booked him versus Kopp, but I'm pretty sure they're booking Kopp versus Royval. And Kaya Sakura still deserves to fight up because it was competitive until he got submitted, and he's also just a big enough name that you could justify giving him a highly ranked person. And then I have the fucking Tim Elliott versus the winner of Clayton Carpenter versus Tagir Ulanbekov. It's a slim chance, but I think Carpenter might be able to pull it off. I'm not 100% sure, but we'll see. I have Tim Elliott fighting the winner of that. Yeah, I think that's about it for flyweight. I think that's about it. Bantamweight. Rematch, 5 rounds, no bullshit. Yan versus O'Malley 2. Yeah, 5 rounds. No excuse. I don't care if it's a co-main. I don't care if it's on the prelims. Wherever it is, I don't think it would ever be on the prelims. I'm just saying I don't care where it is on the in the fucking bout order. I want this 5 fucking rounds right now. 5 rounds. I want to see if O'Malley can actually hang with Peter Yan longer than 3 rounds. That first fight was razor close, and a lot of people call it a robbery. I think you can give it to O'Malley based on 1 and 3. But yeah, Sandhagen should fight Merab if he loses. I feel like that's the only real fight for him, is if Merab loses to Umar, but you can't really justify him fighting the winner or the loser. If Umar loses, you can't really be like, oh, let's run it back. Not really. So I think that's the only real matchup for him. It's a kind of a tricky division. I mean, you could give him Aldo, but you know, like I'm not 100% sure. And then this is confirmed. I think the winner should get Cheeto for a mid-off. Like, I mean, there's not really... Bantamweight's kind of tricky. There's not really much else. I think the winner should just fight Cheeto. And then Rob Font versus Dominic Cruz is confirmed. I think both should retire regardless of the outcome. I don't really have them matched up with anybody else. Just retire, bro. Like, what's left for Font? Is he going to make a run at the title? No. Is Cruz going to make a run at the title? No. If Cruz sticks around, he probably should stick around for a Jose Aldo fight. What else? Zahabi versus McGee. I ran out of room on this page, so just imagine their pictures are there. And then I have, if Aldo decides to stick around, maybe he gets to fight Cheeto if Cheeto loses a matchup versus Yadong or Cejudo, or Aldo versus Cruz, but I think Cruz doesn't want to fight him because I think current Aldo would fucking murder him. Cruz, we don't know what Cruz looks like. He fought Cheeto in his last fight and got knocked out badly. He was winning and then he got knocked out. So I don't know. I think you could justify that, but I think Cruz doesn't really want to fight Aldo. I think he knows he would kind of get fucking ran through. So that, or I mean, maybe a Sandhagen matchup, but I think Cheeto coming off of a loss to like Yadong or Yadong or Cejudo. Or honestly, you could do Aldo versus Cejudo, but I was going to make that matchup until they confirmed Yadong versus Cejudo. Yeah, the first fight with Cheeto and Yadong was I'm pretty sure people were calling it a robbery. It was pretty close, somewhat close fight, from what I remember. Don't quote me on that, but I think run it back if Yadong wins. I don't know. And then I also have Kyler Phillips versus Jackson. I think Montel Jackson. Forgot his first name there for a second, but winner can fight up the rankings, I guess. Bantamweight's just really tricky, dude. I don't know. So we'll move on to featherweight, but those are my matchups for bantamweight so far. Hear me out. Volkanovski versus Movsar Evloev, because it's a best case scenario for Ilya and for Volkanovski, because we'll see if Volk still has it. You know, I think he could beat Movsar. I think it's either him or Ilya are going to be the people to do it. Maybe Lopez in a rematch. I don't know. But it does so much more for Ilya's legacy if he fights a Volkanovski coming off of a win, so that we know for a fact that he wasn't compromised. I mean, I know the Holloway fight proved that shit probably would have happened either way in the first fight. I say the first fight as if there's a second fight confirmed or anything. But the Volkanovski versus Ilya, the first fight, it would have happened regardless. Maybe in a little bit of a different fashion, but it would have happened regardless. It's not like he just caught him on a short turnaround and, oh, well, Volkanovski's chin was never the same. And maybe it won't be, but still, the fact that he knocked out Holloway proves that he would have had the power to do it regardless. Like, Volk wasn't going to eat those shots, you know? I have Lopez versus Ilia Topuria. Just give Lopez a shot already. He beat the fucking shit out of Brian Ortega. And, yeah, that's kind of the top of the division, but it works out better for Volk as well, because if Volk beats Movsar, takes his 0, and fights Ilya, we know that he still has it, you know? And it still does help his case for featherweight GOAT, because I think Ilya can surpass him as featherweight GOAT if he beats, like, Movsar, either the winner of Movsar versus Volkanovski and Lopez, and maybe, like, one other guy coming off of a string of wins, you know? So that's what I have for the kind of the top of the division. And then next we have Yair Rodriguez versus Arnold Allen. This fight's going to be a fucking banger if they put it on, because Yair is a flashy striker. Arnold Allen is a I will fucking scrap with you. You know, we seen him dropped uh multiple times by Giga and by Holloway. Not multiple times each, but you know, he's been dropped by Giga Chikadze with the knee, and he's also been dropped by Holloway when he was going after him in the last round. So, you know, I mean, Yair versus Arnold Allen, it's going to be a banger. I think Arnold Allen might win this because he can mix it in. He can mix it up. He does have grappling, a little bit of it. I mean, he's obviously not like the grappler that Movzar is, but he 100% could mix it up against Yair Rodriguez, and we know Yair is a fish out of water when he gets to the ground. Don't know how he submitted Emmett, but fucking whatever, dude. Um, and then I have, excuse me, I have Josh Emmett versus Lerone Murphy. Winner can look at like a top 5 opponent and maybe even be ranked top 5. I'd probably pick Murphy to stay safe. He's literally the Leon Edwards of fucking featherweight, where he'll fight safe enough to win a decision, and it's boring. But if anybody's gonna put his lights out and save us from Leon Edwards at featherweight, it's gonna be Josh Emmett. So yeah, Aljo versus Bryce Mitchell. It's going to be an exciting grappling matchup. I think it makes sense. You know, Aljo coming off that loss to Movzar Evloev, and Mitchell getting that great win over Crone Gracie. I don't think he should have been fighting out of the rankings either way, but I think this is a winnable matchup. I might pick Mitchell. I don't know, but Aljo's really good, and his striking's kind of slept on, I feel like. And then fucking Giga versus Cater 2. Literally because I said so. I know I wrote that on the screen, but literally because I said so. Not really much else for other people in the division. I mean, you could probably mix it up a little bit better than me, but whatever. And then Steve Garcia versus Edson Barboza is confirmed, I'm pretty sure. So that's an interesting matchup. I think Steve Garcia would probably win that. I don't know. Maybe Barboza activates his gatekeeper abilities. And then I have Dan Ige versus an unranked guy, because whenever he faces somebody who's unranked, he fucking smokes him out cold. So give him an unranked guy so I can see my king go get another win. You know, another 50K, 50K Ige, baby. You know. So that's about it for featherweight. I want to see a lot of these get announced. And then I have for lightweight. I don't think Oliveira should sit out on the Chandler win and look for a title shot. I think he should fight Holloway. They should run it back at lightweight, because the first time they fought, if you don't know, they fought at featherweight, and Oliveira had a I think something was wrong with his esophagus, and he like literally just shelled up and like put his hand out and was like, and like I remember rewatching that and just being like, dude, is he fucking dead? Like, what the fuck? Obviously Arman versus Islam is confirmed, the rematch. But yeah, winner of Holloway versus Oliveira. I think Oliveira could get a title shot off of it, but I think maybe Holloway needs like one more if he beats Oliveira. I think I'm gonna pick Oliveira by submission. I think he's improved leaps since their first fight. So, and then we also have Justin Gaethje versus Dan Hooker. I think the winner of that should probably face like Holloway. Well, not if it's Gaethje because they just fought. I don't know. Maybe if it's Hooker. If Hooker wins, then we can give him to Holloway, and that'd be a fucking really good scrap. And then I have Chandler versus Yoel Alvarez. Fucking Chandler needs to fucking pack it up, buddy. Like it's time for you to fucking go fight an up and comer. There's no fucking money fights for you until you pay your fucking dues. You ugly fucking cheating, cringy fucking son of a bitch. I fucking hate you. Sorry. He cheated against Oliveira, and Oliveira is my favorite fighter. So, grabbing the fence, hitting him in the back of the head, poking his eyes, like he all he had to do was do a groin shot, and then I'm pretty sure he basically would have committed almost all of the fouls you can. Yeah, he should fight Alvarez. I think Alvarez would win that. I would pick Alvarez to win that. But if Chandler does beat Alvarez, it beat an up and comer, because Gaethje had to go fight Fiziev, Poirier had to go fight Saint Denis. He needs to fight an up and comer. He needs to pay his dues. You know, he's not at the top of the division anymore. He is 2-4 in the UFC. His current wins being Dan Hooker, aged pretty well, I get it, but Dan Hooker and Tony Ferguson. Where's Tony Ferguson right now? Yeah, fucking Yeah, and then his losses: Poirier, Gaethje, Oliveira twice. Like, you need to fucking fight an up and comer, and then you can earn yourself some money fights. Like, if you want to get the McGregor fight, or if you want to get the fucking, I want to fight Max Holloway for the BMF. Like, no, dude, you should probably pay your dues first. Maybe get on a 2-fight win streak, then we'll talk about a BMF belt. People coming off losses shouldn't be fighting for BMF belts. I know that's a crazy hot take, but fucking whatever, dude. And Moicano versus Dariush is confirmed. Uh, I'm gonna pick Moicano to win that, and I also say run back Gamrot versus Fiziev. I'm pretty sure Fiziev got injured in the first fight, and it was kind of a fluke win. Run it back. This is one of those things that definitely need to be ran back, and you know I think it could be a banger. Both guys are kind of at the same area in the division, same like around the same rankings, so run that back. And then lastly, um, Benoit Fraud Denis should fight Jalen Weight Bully Turner. And then obviously Patty should fight, I don't know, fucking Gamrot coming off a loss. Uh, yeah, I don't know. Or like Dariush coming off of a loss, and then they can set up the Moicano fight. I think he just needs one more before they give him the Moicano fight, because it's not fair that Moicano fights um, Jalen Turner, then he fights Benoit Saint Denis, then he fights Dariush, and then they reward him with somebody even lower in the rankings. Uh, they can make that fight work, the Pimblett versus Moicano fight work, because it's marketable. Put it on the Ultimate Fighter after Pimblett fights somebody up in the rankings coming off of a loss. But yeah, Benoit Saint Denis versus Jalen Turner. I mean, it's literally like a lose lose though. It's kind of a shitty matchup on my part. Probably should have thought this one through, because it's like either we get fucking Benoit wins and it's like, oh great, now we have to, you know, have him fight up the rankings again and get fucking fraud checked. Or Jalen Turner wins and this fucking weight bully gets to stay around and not fight at welterweight, because when he does fight at welterweight, he gets fucking smashed and fucking bitched around. So I don't know. It's kind of a lose lose outcome. I mean, I guess you could kind of save the hype train of Benoit Saint Denis, but at the same time, it's just kind of like, bro, Benoit Saint Denis should arguably be fighting like a Fares Ziam or somebody who's unranked, as Chandler should be. He should fight the winner of Grant Dawson versus Diego Ferreira. You know, fight that guy, or Chandler should be fighting them. But I think Chandler fighting Yoel Alvarez is good enough, because Yoel Alvarez is right there. He's right there. So that's part one of the matchmaking. Part two will be welterweight through heavyweight. I'm not doing women's MMA. Don't even fucking start with that shit. I'm good. Um, I might just do title fights, but I'm not doing the entirety of women's MMA. It gives me a headache. They've all already fought each other. It's just gonna be a shit ton of rematches, basically. So yeah, that's my matchmaking from flyweight to lightweight. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you would change anything, change a couple matchups, or add a couple matchups that I maybe missed. So let me know. Be sure to drop a like and maybe subscribe. And I'll have that part two out pretty soon.